Welcome to the Destin platform, an initiative developed by the European Space Agency and other European institutions with the goal of creating high-precision digital model of the Earth that can simulate natural phenomena and human activities. You'll find digital twins for different sectors. Here, we'll explore how to use the CityNexus digital twin for sustainable mobility and air quality. The first step is to register on the platform. Go to Sign In and create your account. If you already have one, just log in using your username and password. To access the CityNexus digital twin, click on the Services section. Once you're there, scroll down and click on CityNexus. The first section provides an overview of the project. Click on Documentation to be guided on how to use the platform. Here you'll see a left-hand panel with a menu that lists all the topics included in the documentation. These range from an overview of the platform to how to generate what-if scenarios, run simulations, and more. Now if you go back to main page, you can click on Go to Service to open the platform. Each city has its baseline scenario, which represents the status quo of the city, and alternative preloaded scenarios including different urban interventions that you can explore. In the top left corner, use the drop-down menu to select the city and filter the scenarios accordingly. For each city you will find its base map and the previously defined scenarios for the what-if analysis. This section allows you to load scenarios for visualization and comparison, delete or download existing scenarios. There is also a quick help section that will guide you through all the functionalities of the platform. Now let's display the results of a simulation. The table will show the conditions for the defined scenario including name, time slot, day type, mode of transport and status of the simulation. Simply click on the table, and a window will pop up allowing you to configure the visualization. Here you can select the scenarios where you want to visualize the mobility layers. When you're ready, simply click on Configure. In the left panel, you'll see the selected scenario and the available layers for visualization. You can choose whether to show or hide a layer by simply clicking the eye icon. Then, if you hover the mouse over the layer, you'll see the attributes information for each road segment. On the right-hand panel, you'll find several options to view more information. You can open and pin the layer legend in the map. Then you have a dynamic panel to display the layer over a 3-hour time slot during the day. Here you can see how NO2 levels change over a typical day. You can either press play for a dynamic animation or select manually the time slot you want to see. You can also adjust the map's display setting. For example, you can choose among several base maps to improve your visualization. Now let's open a second layer. You will need to click on Configure and select a new one. For applying the changes, confirm by clicking again on Configure. Now you will see both layers in the left panel. You can choose which one to visualize by clicking on the eye icon. Now go to the top of the screen and click on the Dual Map View button. This will allow you to compare the layers. Then, click on the top button for selecting which layer you want to see in each window. For this, the two layers need to be activated previously by activating the eye icon. For enabling an animated visualization, go to the panel below and click on Play to see how NO2 and road occupancy evolves over time. You can also change the speed for a more dynamic animation. In this video we will compare the baseline conditions with the results of the simulation on an ecomobility scenario. To display the predefined conditions, click on Load Scenario. Here you will see an orange area where an intervention has been done with respect to the baseline conditions. When you click on the road segment, you can see that the street is closed to vehicle transit. Now you can go back to the menu and open the simulation results. Here you can choose the scenarios and layers to display. In this case, we will select the low emission zone scenario and the baseline conditions for comparison. Here you can select the parameters you want to visualize. You can choose between air quality and mobility parameters. When you are ready, just click on Configure to display them in the map. Then you can start with changing the base map to improve the visualization. In the left panel, you will see the displayed scenarios and the layers you selected for visualization. Now let's do a comparison. Go to the Dual View button and select the layer you want to see in each side of the screen. Here, we will display the NO2 for baseline conditions and for the low emission zone scenario. Now you can see the difference between NO2 levels in the area converted to a low emission zone versus the baseline conditions in the city. Use the panel below to display the animation for visualizing how NO2 levels vary over a typical day between status quo conditions and the implementation of a low emission zone. You can also zoom in to check the values per road segment between scenarios. In this video, we will see how to create customized scenarios and simulations. To create your own scenario, you need to load the baseline conditions of the city. You can define your scenario by modifying the road network and the land use grid. In each grid cell, you can change the area associated to each land use type. Then, by selecting the road network, you can define to tunnel a street, make it underground, close it to vehicle transit, and change their speed limit. You can also see which type of street you are modifying. You can choose to modify one single street segment or draw a polygon to apply changes to a wider area. Here, the selected street segments will be closed to transit. Therefore, these modifications will have an impact on the outputs once you run the simulation. When you finish the modifications, you can save your scenario, and you will see in orange the areas where you performed the interventions. Then, click into Play to customize the simulation. You can select between mobility simulations, flooding simulation, and a combination of both. You can also choose the day type and time slots where to run the simulation. For mobility simulations, you can also define the % of bicycles and e-vehicles among the total vehicle fleet. When you're ready, click on Start Simulation. Then, go back to the main menu to check the status and results. Here you can see the processing status of your simulation. You can simply click on the table to open your results. Here you can choose the scenarios you want to display. Between the ones created by the user and the predefined ones, labeled as policy. Then select the layers you want to explore, and click on Configure when you're ready. Now you can explore the road occupancy and NO2 levels between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. especially considering the effects in the area where the roads are now closed to traffic. Now we are going to create a flood simulation. You can modify the grid cells, road segments, or draw flood defenses by simply tracing a line in the map. Then you will save the scenario and define the flooding parameters. You can choose a limited time slots if you want to simulate a short and intense flooding event. Then you need to select the flooding parameters, including sea level rise, river discharge, mobility traceholds, and rainfall parameters. You can also specify the rain duration for exploring different intensities of rainfall events. Then, go back to the main menu and click on the simulation to open the results. You can navigate through the time slots to see the flood depth at the road segment level. You can also hover over them to see the values for flood and other parameters. You can also display the flood depth as a continuous raster layer. Here you can see how the flood event evolves over the simulated period. Finally, you can also explore the values of flood depth per cell. Here you can see the mean, maximum, and minimum values. Thank you for watching. For more information, you can visit the service at destinationearth.eu.